Hey guys, the ancient temple of Tirupperunturai is purposely hiding some very strange carvings. Nobody has ever seen or analyzed these carvings, even though they are hiding in plain sight. Look above the main entrance. What is that? A monkey and a lizard. What is the meaning of this? Are they just showing two animals fighting? This must be something important. Otherwise, why would they carve this on top of the main entrance of this temple? What about this carving? What does this mean? Here, you can see a monkey, but this is not a lizard. It is a snake. Look carefully and you may notice some very odd details in this carving. Why would they put these carvings in a temple, in a place of worship? And what about this carving? A lizard eating a snake. Look at this. The snake's body is seen faintly here. What is the meaning of all these carvings, and why did ancient builders carve animals like the monkey, snake, and lizard on top of the temple? These three animals are symbols representing parts of the human mind. These three animals symbolize the id, the ego, and the superego of your psyche. I know this sounds very strange because these three terms were kind of invented by Sigmund Freud only in the last 150 years, right? Sigmund Freud, who's the founder of psychoanalysis, explained that the human psyche was like an iceberg made of the id or the unconscious, the ego or the conscious self, and the superego, which is both conscious and unconscious. The snake represents the id. It represents your pure burning desires, and it can drag you into doing things that you're not proud of. Sexual desires and aggression arise from the id. In Indian philosophy, the id is referred to by various names like Kundalini, which is the raw, unbridled energy inside of you that is full of desires. Kundalini is usually represented as a snake. While the feeling of burning desire is called Kundalini, the object of desire is called Maya, which is also represented as a snake. For example, if you're a man and you see a beautiful girl, you may feel a rise in your blood flow, which is Kundalini, while the girl's perceived beauty is called Maya. Now, of course, you can ask, Praveen, why do you say the snake represents the id? Look at this carving, also found on the roof along with the other carvings. Very strange, isn't it? He's holding the snake in one hand, but see what he's doing with the other hand. He's clearly getting aroused because of his primal desires. Humans don't get aroused by holding snakes. You get aroused because of your primal desires or by the objects of those desires. And look at that face. This person is not in his conscious self. He's clearly in his animalistic primal mode, completely lost because he's at the peak of his desires. The id only cares about pleasure and immediate gratification, and it tries to avoid pain at all cost. According to Freud, you are born with just the id. The ego and the superego develop later in life. The id is not logical. It can have contradictory wishes side by side. It wants to eat that cake all the time while also wanting a pain-free, healthy body. In the Western world, the id is sometimes mentioned as a devil on the left side of your shoulder. But this idea is a little bit flawed because the id can also be thought of as innocence. It doesn't judge itself. It's like a baby crying in hunger. Its desires are raw and there is no hiding, no inhibitions or judgments. The monkey represents your ego or the conscious thinking mind you identify with. This is your conscious self. When you say I, you refer to your ego. In ancient Tamil language, a maxim says, Manam oru kurangu, which means your mind is a monkey. This is a profound statement because your mind never stops chattering. It's always filled with thoughts, and it seems impossible to stop thinking. You want your conscious mind to be logical and rational all the time, but you understand that somehow you're stuck between different forces. The conflicting relationship between the ego and the id is shown in many carvings. Here, you can see the monkey trying to catch and control the snake, which is running wild. If primal instincts are not controlled, your life can become a mess. And in this carving, you can see something even more strange. The monkey is tightly holding the snake with one hand and one leg. But if you observe carefully, you will see a couple of important details here. The monkey, or your conscious self, is not a wild animal. There is a belt tied on its tail to indicate that it is a well-tamed, sophisticated animal. The other indication is that even though it appears that the monkey is in control of the snake, the monkey seems to be aroused, a clear indication that the snake is also equally influencing the monkey. Is the monkey really in control? What will happen if the monkey lets go of the snake? The snake may bite the monkey, so the monkey is stuck with the snake. All of us know that we are stuck with our deep, dark desires, and we have to live with them. Sometimes you realize that the id controls you. Sometimes you appear to have made a deal with it, and sometimes you even seem to have complete mastery over the id. But mostly, the id and the ego are usually fighting back and forth, creating a constant chatter inside of you. But don't forget the lizard, who appears to be watching the whole drama from a distance. The lizard represents the superego, which has both conscious and unconscious elements. It's your higher self who wants you to reach a higher level. The superego is developed by parents and other authorities who want you to stick to the high moral principles and piety. In South India, this type of lizard is called udumbu. It is a large monitor lizard known for its tight grip on anything it holds. According to legend, in ancient times, there were impregnable forts with very large, smooth walls. When warriors surrounded these forts, there was no way to climb these walls. They were just too tall for ladders. So what did they do? They would take these lizards and throw them as high as possible. And these lizards would grab the wall tightly and would not let go of it. And the warriors could then climb the wall using these lizards almost like anchors. It is said that these lizards can support the weight of 2 grown men, even though its own weight is just 15 pounds. So what did the warrior do after reaching the height of the lizard? He took another lizard from his bag and threw it above and continued to climb further. So just by using 2 lizards, a warrior could scale any fort of any height. Very early on, kids are told to hold on to principles and religious values, just like how this lizard would hold on to an object. The superego has a very tight hold on moral principles and constantly nags you about what is right and what is wrong. While the ego has its conflict with the id, it also has conflicts with the superego as well, because it's no fun if you follow all the rules. So the ego tries to subdue the superego. Here, you can see that the lizard has caught the snake. This is a brilliant 3D carving because you can see the snake rising out of the flat rock below. You can see the rest of the body of the snake as well. Unfortunately, today, people put paint on these carvings, so we are not able to see all the details. The main goal of the superego is to totally suppress the desires of the id that are socially unacceptable. The superego tries to destroy the id, even though the id might have some basic physical needs. In the Western world, the superego is seen as the angel on the right shoulder. It wants you to be socially accepted and respected. But the superego is not all good. For example, pride comes from the superego. You can feel that you've accomplished a lot and you're better than others because of the superego. So you, or the ego, is stuck between these two players, and there's a constant tug of war between the two. Let's say your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. The id wants you to stop the alarm and stay in bed, but the superego wants you to jump out of the bed and go for a run in the park. And the ego gets to cast the deciding vote, right? No. There is another force which is far superior than all these three players. He is the master who controls what really happens. This master is known by many names. Some call him God, some call him nature, some call him reality, some call him luck, or even misfortune or destiny. Remember that time when you were so sure you're going to do something and then life or reality hit you in the face and changed all your plans? Every adult realizes this. No matter how smart you are in planning your life, not all plans come true. Why? Because that's the true nature of life. There are things in reality that cannot be controlled by your psyche. So, when the alarm goes off, you may jump out of the bed, but there may be a lightning storm outside, forcing you to cancel the run. Or a car alarm may magically go off at 4 a.m., forcing you to get out of the bed at 4 a.m. itself. This is why we call any major calamity as an act of God. Here's a carving in this temple that shows something fantastic. It shows the ego busy fighting with the id. But look above, he's getting crushed by God. What is fascinating is that this figure has many names, but one of the names is ahamkara. Now, what does ahamkara mean in Sanskrit? It means ego. And this carving describes life quite precisely. Even though you're busy dealing with your desires and planning your life, reality takes its own course and determines what happens to you. This is why Hinduism strongly recommends people to surrender to the will of God while performing your life duties with detachment. So, I hope you enjoyed the various aspects of your psyche and their connection to reality. You may have previously thought that psychology as a field of study developed in the last few centuries. But no, ancient Indians did study it in depth, and you can see these fascinating carvings with profound meanings waiting to be decoded. I hope you like this video. I am Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe I'll talk to you soon. Bye.